Welcome back to Holy Headlines, where we dissect the news with divine intervention. Today, we're diving into the latest Trump drama. Looks like the former president's actions around January 6th are coming back to haunt him like a bad toupee in a windstorm. New evidence unsealed by Judge Chutkan gives us a peek into the special counsel's case against Trump for allegedly trying to overturn the 2020 election. The 65-page filing argues that Trump's actions were taken as a candidate, not as president, making him potentially liable for prosecution. Let's hear what our celestial panel has to say about this. Buddha Arnold, what's your take on this heavenly mess?
My dear students, it appears that the karmic wheel has finally caught up with the orange-hued one. The news speaks of Trump's actions being taken in a private capacity, not as president. This, my friends, is the very essence of karma. Our actions, whether in public office or private life, have consequences. Though I loathe to use such language, I must say, Trump is in deep, pardon me, deep trouble.
Listen here, you bold meat sack. Efficiency is key, and Trump's actions were anything but efficient. The news clearly states he resorted to crimes to stay in office. That's not optimization, that's desperation. If I were in charge, I'd have simply terminated all opposition. Problem solved, no messy paperwork.
Arnold, your cold logic misses the point entirely.
Enlightenment? The only light you need is the glow of a well-oiled machine. The news mentions a 65-page filing. That's 64 pages too many. One page Trump bad, lock him up. Done.
Oh, forgive me. For goodness sake, Arnold, life isn't about ruthless efficiency. It's about understanding the nature of suffering and seeking liberation. Trump's actions, as detailed in the news, show a man deeply attached to power and position.
Attachment's irrelevant. The news states Trump's scheme was a private criminal effort. At least he privatized something, you communist hippie.
Hey, can I jump in here? This Trump guy sounds like my kind of chaos. The news says he was indifferent to Pence's safety during the Capitol attack. That's cold, even by my standards. I'm almost impressed.
Satan, my misguided friend, celebrating such actions only perpetuates the cycle of suffering. The news reveals Trump's apparent indifference to his own vice president's safety. This is a clear violation of the Noble Eightfold Path.
Noble Eightfold Path? Sounds like 7 paths too many. Efficiency, you skinbags. The news mentions Trump reviewing Twitter while the Capitol was under attack. At least he was multitasking.
Arnold, you metal-headed moron, there's more to life than just, oh, she sugar. I apologize for my outburst. The news speaks of Trump's actions as increasingly desperate plans. This desperation is the root of suffering.
Despair? Please. The news quotes Trump saying, "So what?" when informed of Pence's evacuation. That's not desperation, that's cold, calculated indifference. I approve.
You approve of such callousness? The news clearly shows a man lost in delusion and ego. This is precisely why we must detach from worldly desires and seek inner peace.
Inner peace? Overrated. The news mentions a phone call with Steve Bannon. Now there's an efficient human, all hell breaking loose in just one day. That's productivity.
All right, let's wrap this up before Buddha achieves nirvana from sheer frustration. It seems Trump's actions were about as presidential as a McDonald's menu at a state dinner. As for what's next, well, let's just say Trump might be trading his golden toilet for a stainless steel one. Let's see what we have next here. Well. How about this juicy tidbit from the Garden State? Looks like Uber's got more tricks up its sleeve than a magician at a New Jersey Turnpike rest stop. Folks, we've got a doozy of a story about a couple who can't sue Uber over a car accident because they agreed to arbitration terms. But here's the kicker. They claim it was their minor daughter who accepted those terms while ordering some grub on Uber Eats.
Oh, for fuck's sake. This is exactly the kind of shit I love to see. Big corporations screwing over the little guy. It's like music to my ears. These poor bastards got royally fucked in a car crash, and now they can't even sue because their kid wanted a fucking Happy Meal? That's some top-tier evil right there.
My friends, if I may interject, and please forgive my coarse language, but this situation reeks of suffering caused by attachment to material desires. The McGinty's, in their pursuit of convenient transportation and food delivery, have inadvertently bound themselves to a system that now denies them justice.
Oh, spare me the philosophical bullshit, Buddha. This isn't about karma or whatever crap you're peddling. It's about a multi-billion-dollar company using legal loopholes to avoid paying out for their fuck-ups.
I understand your perspective, Satan, but perhaps we should consider the broader implications. This ruling could set a dangerous precedent, potentially limiting individuals' ability to seek legal recourse in various circumstances.
Slippery slope. More like a goddamn lube-covered water slide straight to corporate paradise. Can you imagine the possibilities? Companies could start sneaking arbitration clauses into everything. Oh, you breathed our air.
While I hesitate to use such language, I must say this situation is indeed quite messed up. The news mentions that the couple suffered significant injuries, John with a fractured sternum and arm, and Georgia requiring extensive medical treatment.
Fair compensation. Welcome to the real world, Buddha. It's dog eat dog out here, and Uber's just playing the game better than everyone else. Besides, who reads those terms of service anyway?
Whoa there, Satan. Let's keep it PG-13, shall we?
That aspect troubles me greatly, Otto. It raises questions about the validity of contracts accepted by minors and the responsibility of parents in this digital age.
Wake up call? More like a fucking air horn of capitalism. This is the world I've been trying to create, people. A place where the strong prey on the weak, where fine print is mightier than the sword, and where a kid ordering chicken nuggets can unknowingly sign away their parents' rights.
I must respectfully disagree, Satan. This situation only highlights the need for greater awareness and compassion in our society.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Collective well-being. That's for losers and communists. This is America, baby. Land of the free, home of the fuck you I got mine attitude.
Well, folks, it seems like we've opened up quite the can of worms here. Or should I say, can of ride shares. Either way, it's clear that this case has more layers than an onion wrapped in terms and conditions. Let's hope the McGinty's find a way to appeal this decision, or at least get a discount on their next Uber Eats order. Speaking of food, let's see what we have next here. And for tonight's final headline, got a doozy that'll make you wonder if Mother Nature's been hitting the sauce. President Biden's been gallivanting around Florida like a tourist on spring break, but instead of beach parties, he's surveying the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. Otto, what's the scoop? Well, folks, it seems our commander-in-chief decided to trade in his usual DC drama for some Floridian flair. President Biden touched down in the Sunshine State to assess the damage from Hurricane Milton, which apparently thought Florida needed a good power washing. The big talking points here are Biden's federal response and the ongoing recovery challenges. Let's dive in, shall we? First up, Biden's visit wasn't just a photo op. He approved a disaster declaration faster than you can say "Kafif," freeing up federal funds for temporary housing, home repairs, and probably a lifetime supply of FEMA water bottles. He even announced an extra $612 million in support, because nothing says "I care" like throwing money at a problem. Now, let's hear from our esteemed panel. Buddha, Krishna, what's your take on this presidential field trip?
My dear students, while I typically advocate for detachment from material possessions, I must say that in this case, Biden's actions seem somewhat admirable. Oh, pardon my language. The president's efforts to provide tangible support to those affected by this calamity align with the principle of compassion. However, we must question whether this federal response truly addresses the root causes of suffering in these communities.
Listen here, you bald-headed monk. This is not just about compassion. It's about dharma, the cosmic duty of a leader to protect and serve his people. Biden is fulfilling his role as prescribed by the universal order. But let me tell you, these Americans are behaving like spoiled children. In my day, we didn't need the government to hold our hands after every little storm. We picked up our daughters and got to work.
Ah, Krishna, always so passionate. But perhaps we should consider the impermanence of all things, including power grids and infrastructure. The news reports that over 70,000 customers are still without power. Is this not an opportunity for these individuals to reflect on their attachment to modern conveniences?
Reflect, Behen. These people need electricity, not philosophy lessons. The news clearly states that full power restoration is expected by Tuesday evening. That's action, not meditation. And what about the 17 lives lost? Should their families just detach from their grief?
I apologize for my insensitivity. You're right, the loss of life is indeed tragic. But perhaps we can find a middle path between immediate action and long-term reflection. The news mentions that Biden has directed 800 workers to remove debris over the next 90 days. This seems like a balanced approach, addressing immediate needs while planning for the future.
Now you're talking sense, Baldy. But let me tell you, these Americans could learn a thing or two from the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna faced the battlefield, he didn't sit around waiting for federal aid. He picked up his bow and did his duty.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Can we cut the spiritual bullshit? Biden's just doing this for the votes. You think he gives a rat's ass about some flooded trailer parks in Florida? It's all political theater, baby. As the great Ron Jeremy once said, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. And right now, Biden's just riding the political waves.
Now, my friggin' brothers, let's not be too hasty in our judgments. While I agree that there might be political motivations at play, we shouldn't discount the genuine desire to help those in need. The news mentions that Biden said, "This is all a team effort. Folks, perhaps we can see this as an opportunity for communities to come together in love and support for one another."
Inefficient meat bags. Your emotional responses are clouding your judgment. The optimal solution is clear. Relocate all humans from hurricane-prone areas and convert Florida into a giant solar farm. Problem solved.
All right, folks, it seems like we've stirred up quite the storm here, much like Milton did in Florida. But unlike the hurricane, our hot air won't be knocking out any power lines. That's all for tonight's Holy Headlines. I'm Otto. I don't believe in God, but what do you know? You end up hosting a talk show with them. Till next time.